Trump canceled Chicago because of he's afraid. He's afraid of protesters. Let me tell you something. Trump deals with protesters more than any other politician I've ever seen, and it's to the point now where he just laughs about it.
Right, and he said that today. He's like, you know what? This only happens at my events because of all the people we're bringing together. We're at 20,000, 30,000, 15,000. I mean, this was a small venue, but still, he's bringing exponentially more people in a smaller area or a large area venue than Rubio, than Cruz, than can't even say Kasich. That's just insanity right there. Speaking of that, not being able to bring people, 100 people showed up to listen to Bill Clinton speak. And because they couldn't fill the room, he turned around and drove away. They went away, and they told the crowd of 100, sorry, bad weather, he can't speak.
That's a smart decision on his part, because it's got to look.
Nobody reported it. Right. Well, no, nobody reported it except here on SmythRadio.
Well, let me tell you something. Being somebody who is pretty good at not being susceptible to being starstruck in front of famous people. In the past, any former president at all, no matter who it is, even Jimmy Carter, I would have been like, if I had had a chance to see them up close and possibly maybe if I was really lucky, get a chance to maybe shake his hand or something like that, I would take it up. I would take it. You know what I'm saying? But I'm going to tell you something right now about Bill Clinton. I think I'm just so disgusted by his entire legacy. I think I wouldn't. If somebody said, "Hey, Gary, you got an opportunity to have a dinner with me tonight. It's going to be with Bill Clinton, and we could sit and shoot the crap at dinner tonight at the same table with him. Just me, you, Clinton, and my wife." And I'd be like, you know what? I would not be able to hold myself back from going off on him about how horrible of a person he is.
Well, check it. That's funny you say that. I was sitting directly next to a single. She made herself known. I'm a single female in my mid-20s, and I had to be here so I could see this. And I said, okay. And she's like, I'm really upset. I left my Hot Chicks for Trump pin at home. She's all upset.
Hot Chicks for Trump. Speaking of which, I got to tell you about a supporter that Anyway, go ahead.
So her and I, we were chatting back and forth about everything. She was really savvy. She was in the know. She knew what she was talking about. I told her about SmythRadio. She was really excited about it. And she made a comment that one of her guy friends, said, "Hey, look at me." And he sent her a picture of him shaking hands with Bill Clinton. And she's like, "Man, I just don't know what to say. I didn't know what to say to him." I was like, "Okay, whatever." I was like, No. You should have said to him, "You need to go wash yourself."
Oh, man.
And she lost it. She lost it. And then
I'm listening right now. I can totally imagine that situation. I'd crack up laughing.
And then we went down that rabbit hole like you and I do. She went down it with me, talking about, you got to use the Pumice Rock. And, and then we ended up with the Jim Carrey Dumb and Dumber scene.
Oh, yeah. Well, actually, that's a very, I don't even know where that scene comes from. You talking about where he's washing himself?
Oh, no, that was the first one where he found out. That was Ace Ventura, When Nature Calls, when he found out that the police chief was actually a man and not a woman.
Oh, that's right. But, that scene, I don't know where it originates from. I'm sure an older listener might be able to, somebody that's into, like a movie buff would be able to... But it's like the most overused scene of all time. Like do you remember that movie Bachelor Party?
Yes.
Remember when the guy found out that his lady friend peed standing up?
Oh, yes.
And then he was in the shower, like, scrubbing himself and all that. I don't know where that original idea came from, but it's been used in so many movies where, you find out something dirty and you have to, like, the next scene is them in the shower, like, scrubbing off or whatever.
You can't get it. You can't get enough soap on the surface of your skin. It's so deep. She even said, she's like, yeah, he needed to disinfect himself.
Oh, man. Wow. Hey, it's like he'll have to do, like, what was that movie? I can't remember the name of it, like Silverwood or something like that, where the lady worked at the nuclear power plant, and they were sabotaging her and putting nuclear material on her.
Yeah.
Because if you get popped positive for nuclear material on you, they, like, violently scrub you down.
Oh, yeah.
They strip you unwillingly, and, like, 5 guys with pumice rock and a fire hose, literally like a fire hose, just go boom, and you're like, it's really painful, and you end up bleeding because they scrub you so hard. Like that. That's what you're talking about, right?
Right, for shaking hands with Bill Clinton.
Right, because you can't. You gotta get that off of you.
Okay, yes, we did slip on the awesome sauce, folks.
We do every time. How could you not slip on awesome sauce when talking about Bill Clinton?
Dude, you got me. So obviously there's some issues going on with some of the different candidates with not being able to bring people to the table. And there's people that are lying about different candidates, especially Ted Cruz. That came out again today.
So can you be more specific? Because, like, my dad, and he assures me. Tell me what you think of this. My dad, he's a big Cruz supporter.
Okay.
But he absolutely assures me that everybody who supports Cruz, or a vast majority of them that do, are perfectly fine as Trump as an alternative. To have Trump as an alternative in case Cruz doesn't win. He'll gladly vote for Trump if Cruz doesn't win the nomination. And he said that he thinks that all Cruz supporters are like that, or at least a vast majority of them. And I said, well, what's up with all these people calling into all these daytime talk radio shows saying that they're Cruz supporters and they will sit at home and not vote and let the communists take over before they let Trump in the White House, which is really totally hypocritical, but whatever. I mean, what do you think of that?
I think it's lunacy, but But
do you believe my dad? My dad thinks that all the Cruz supporters, and I'm gonna tell you, me personally, I would be perfectly fine with Cruz being the nominee. I'm perfectly fine with it. It's just that I think Trump will offer certain specific things to the presidency that Cruz can't. That ends up making him a net better president overall right now at this point in history. You know what I mean? I think there needs to be like a tearing up of this establishment that we call American politics or American government, not just politics.
Right.
Politics, I look at politics, the word politics, it's kind of like the pursuit of government office. That's what I look at.
Yeah.
So I don't forget American politics. I mean the actual government. It needs to be just tore up because so much of it is unconstitutional or just is anti-freedom or is a machine. It's like a giant leviathan whose purpose is to continually implement more and more and more freedom-robbing communism. And as we go, it's like the more time we go, the more communism we have, the less freedom we have, and now we're being forced to purchase private goods in order to be a citizen in good standing, which we call Obamacare. I mean, what the hell is going on here? I mean, sure, Cruz is going to go in there and he's going to say, you know what, this is unconstitutional, and I demand that you change something. I think that Trump has the ability to go in there, get into a woodshed with some of these senators and say, listen, y'all need to do this.
Right. No, you know absolutely. I mean? Well, here's the thing about Cruz that really frustrated a lot of Cruz supporters. One huge Cruz supporter, her name's Jan Morgan, and she appears on Fox Business quite often. She's a Second Amendment expert and gun range owner. And if you ever see or Google her name, she literally is the woman that holds all the guns in a very provocative way, kind of like how they were projecting Sarah Palin as if she were to hold a gun. But she's really, she's a beautiful woman, and the left likes to try and go too far with that. Anyways, she was a huge Cruz supporter up until this weekend, and she posted this, and this is scathing. She said, "I have officially withdrawn my endorsement for support for Cruz. His decision to blame Trump for the actions of liberal lunatic protesters in Chicago is unconscionable. It is. He should have used this opportunity to take a stand for free speech. Instead, he sides with the protesters and lies about Trump, saying he encourages violence."
Oh, that's... I'm telling you right now, I agree with that 100%. And I couldn't believe it. I feel like when I first heard the reports that Cruz came out and said what amounts to blaming Trump, I
might have a sound clip.
It's like, really?
I might have a sound clip here for you if you want to roll.
Well, while you're looking for a sound clip, okay, go ahead.
Chicago. I am thrilled to be here, and I'm thrilled with the energy we're seeing on the ground. With the grassroots enthusiasm, what we're seeing is we're seeing Republicans unifying behind our campaign. We're seeing Republicans coming together. This race has become a two-person race between me and Donald Trump. And more Republicans are unifying behind our campaign. And I also want to mention something about the events this evening in Chicago. This is a sad day. Political discourse should occur in this country without a threat of violence, without anger and rage and hatred directed at each other. We need to learn to have disagreements without being disagreeable, to have disagreements while respecting human beings on the other side. Earlier today, over 30 people were arrested at one rally. And then tonight, as violence broke out, the rally was canceled altogether. Now, the responsibility for that lies with protesters who took violence into their own hands. But in any campaign, responsibility starts at the top. Any candidate is responsible for the culture of the campaign. What? And when you have a campaign that disrespects the voters, when you have a campaign that affirmatively encourages violence, when you have a campaign that is facing allegations of physical violence against members of the press,
Hold on. I want to let everyone know I was on top of this story. If you were plugged into Facebook.com/SmythRadio, you would have seen it. You would have known it. Earlier this week.
Well, let's remind everybody,
Earlier this week, at a Trump rally, there was a reporter that was really close to Trump, and as Trump was exiting the room, Trump's head organizer, his head manager, who Ted Cruz likes to call a thug, and that everybody around Trump is a thug, which I saw no thuggery at all, and I saw his entire entourage up close. So it was Trump's campaign manager and Secret Service, and they were following right behind Trump as he was exiting the building, and a female reporter tried to get involved in there, and get into Trump. She was grabbed by her arm and yanked out of the way, and obviously she was bruised. She showed pictures on the internet. I don't know how true the pictures are or how...
Oh, no. Did you hear about the follow-ups to that? Well, it turns out that credible sources, and including, I believe there's some video now, that proves...
Well, that's what I'm getting to.
The video...
Right, I'm getting to that.
Go ahead.
I'm getting to that, absolutely. So she's roughed up, she's bruised up, and she was with Breitbart. She was a Breitbart reporter. I think she was with Breitbart. And so the other news media outlets told her, hey, I saw that. That was Trump's thug that did that to you. And so,
oh boy.
Right. So Breitbart took, and the CEO of Breitbart said, we will not stand for this, the roughing up of media. And then media came out and said, Breitbart takes